one more topic that I'd like to introduce as we go through the LLM APIs is the Chat API, which is a bit different from the DaVinci 003 that we've seen above. Chat API has been introduced with GPT-3.5 Turbo model, which is essentially a chat model which expects a sequence of messages ranging from the user through the system-generated or the AI-generated message, and then again, in another turn, we may have another user message. And in this case, the prompt and the API looks a bit differently from the previous one. So I'd like to make sure you understand it. The Chat API right now is more powerful. It's used by both 3.5 and 4 models, and you are much more likely to use this API in your applications. So in this case, we pick GPT 3.5 Turbo model, and we are using the chat completion API, which takes, instead of a prompt, it takes a list of messages. And the messages come with different roles. The first one comes with a system, and this is the prompt. This is the system prompt that we provide to the model. And the second one comes from the user, and this is where we put actually something that the user might say or ask the model to respond to. And again, we can provide different parameters here, such as temperature values. So let's see the output of that, the response from that API. And we can see this is an OpenAI API object. It has the message, the content, which is something that we are actually interested in seeing. It also provides the role that generated this response. So if we feed this back in another turn, we will feed it back with the role of assistant. The assistant provided this response. And we also have some metadata, including things like the model, like the object that generated this, and the number of tokens used in the completion in the prompt. And just to double check how the response looks from the Chat API, we can read now that Weights and Biases is a machine learning platform that helps data scientists and machine learning engineers track and visualize their experiments. It provides tools for experiment management, hyperparameter tuning, and model visualization, making it easier to understand and improve machine learning models. Weights and Biases also offers integrations with popular machine learning frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, and Keras. I love this response. I think this is the best one. And this shows that the 3.5 model is probably way better than DaVinci in following instructions, where the instruction here was to tell us something about weights and biases. It's probably also more up-to-date and more powerful. And it results in a high-quality answer. It will probably be even better if we switch into GPT-4 or potentially GPT-5 if you watch this course in the future. So now let's finish our 1DB run. As you play with this notebook yourself, I encourage you to click on this link, and we can actually do this together. When we click on the link to our Weights and Biases run, we can see a log of our experiments. We've generated a bunch of calls to the OpenAI API. The most recent one was GPT 3.5 Turbo, and we can see the request here, including the system message and the user message. We can see the response from the model and the metadata as well. You can also see the model architecture here, which is pretty simple because this is a simple OpenAI API call. Actually, if we click on this, we will see the requests and the response and all of these details. If we go to some of the previous generations here in the trace timeline, we can see again the request, which will say something about weights and biases, the completion, amazing tool for tracking, visualizing machine learning experiments, and we'll probably be able to also see the metadata here, which, and in this case, we played with the top P parameter, which was 0.01. And again, we can see metadata such as the max tokens, the model that we used, the finish reason here, it was bound by the length of the generation. and other metadata such as the number of tokens used in this call. So I encourage you, as you experiment with APIs, to also auto-log them to weights and biases. And this will be helpful if you want to go back and check what work has been done, how different parameters influence the results and the outputs of these APIs.